something. Being disciplined is the will to push through it, the stick-to-itiveness that drives you not to give up on your goals and live your dreams. Our next guest does not just go on tours from school to schools. To be honest, this is his first school tour. Okay? I once heard him speak, and it was incredibly inspirational. It was at his brother's wedding, and he was the best man. He just lives his life. He goes to work like everybody else and enjoys his family. But the way he lived his life was an inspiration to me and others. And then I asked him to come in and speak. I actually asked him to come in pre-COVID. So we've been planning this for quite a long time. Okay, but the way he lives his life is so inspirational to me. I asked him to come speak and be our guest speaker today for our character word discipline. Please help me give a warm TBA welcome to our guest speaker, Mr. Kevin DeZucco.
Tell us about yourself. What do you do, and what are your interests?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Kevin. Let me introduce myself. I'm a regular, average, typical run-of-the-mill guy. I enjoy sports. I follow the Sabres, the Bills, the Yankees. In my spare time, I like to play video games. I like to watch movies, hang out with friends and family. Just do average things. I spend a great deal of my time working. I work for a company called Frontier Science that does medical research, where I am a software engineering manager. So I spend a great deal of my time writing computer code, helping my team to do that as well. We're involved in research of all kinds of different medical studies, everything from HIV and AIDS, breast cancer, COVID, smallpox, malaria, you name it. We look for treatments, vaccines. Obviously, the last couple of years, we're very heavily involved in COVID, and we're involved in researching the various vaccines. And all those activities need software, so I'm the guy that makes it. So that's a little bit about me. So.
What inspired you to become a computer programmer?
What inspired me? So that's a good question. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, I'm 46 years old. Computers were just kind of becoming mainstream, and a few friends and family were starting to get computers in their houses, and as well as schools. And I would actually stay after school to what they call the computer club, and go to the library. A bunch of us would huddle around two computers, and mostly use them to play video games. Old school games like Carmen San Diego, Oregon Trail. You guys can Google what those things are, and I thought they were pretty cool. So I wanted to spend more time with computers and have one at home. So I asked my folks if we could get a computer for at home, and I think they just about fell on the floor laughing at me to think about spending $1,000 on a toy. So they said, if you want a computer, go get a job and buy yourself a computer. So that's what I did. So I knew that I couldn't do, typical service jobs that teenage kids do. So it took me a while to look through job advertisements and find something that might work for me. And finally, I found one that I applied for doing telephone surveys for local car sales place to do customer satisfaction surveys after someone bought their car. Um, so I called to ask about the job, and the lady said, because it's a telephone job, we want to do a telephone interview to see if you're good on the telephone. So I did the interview with her right then and there, and she thought I did very well and told me that I had the job. She said, come in Monday and we'll get you, officially signed up and get you to work. Um, so I came in Monday, and when she seen that I used a wheelchair, it was like an old-fashioned cartoon. Her eyes bugged out, her jaw hit the ground. She kind of stuttered and stumbled and had me wait for a few minutes, and then she came back and told me that, oh, I'm sorry, this job's already been filled. So, okay, well, that's the way it goes, I guess. And so that job advertisement ran for another 6 to 8 weeks after that. So I knew that she was lying and that she didn't want to hire me because I was using a wheelchair. So then I decided to take matters into my own hand, and instead of worrying about job interviews, I just went into business for myself. Went into making arts and crafts, mostly lawn sort of crafts that would go like into a flower garden or something like that, and sold them out front of the house. Went to many, many, many craft sales, and didn't take me long to save up what I wanted to buy that first computer. And then from there, the love for computers just kind of, went from there. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got into computers and programming.
The word of the month was disciplined. Explain how you use discipline in your daily life.
Discipline, right, good question. So what discipline means to me is having the self-control to do what you think is best for yourself and for others. And how I use that in my daily life is I'm diabetic. I need to follow a certain diet, eat fewer sugars, few carbs, and it would be easy to kind of give into temptation and eat an entire bag of Doritos and cake and ice cream. But I use discipline to not do that every day. Since the pandemic started, another example is my entire company works from home now. It would be easy again to give into temptation and sleep in late, stay in my pajamas all day, work only a half a day. Who would know? Nobody would know. But I use discipline to not do that every day, to not do that actually ever. I get up every morning, take a shower, get dressed, don't stay in my pajamas all day, work a full 8-hour day, and that certainly takes discipline.
Being disciplined is a choice. Why did you choose to be disciplined?
Yeah, why do I choose to be disciplined? That's a good question. I think there's a couple different reasons. One is, I gave the example of following a certain diet. The not doing that has large consequences. So that helps me to, use that discipline. And the bigger reason, though, is why I choose to be disciplined is it gives you a very rewarding feeling to know that you've done something good, you're on the right path, and you're seeing successful results because of that. Whether it be, results in my daily life, whether it be results at work, that discipline does pay off. So just having that rewarding, winning feeling certainly is a great reason why.
What leadership lessons have you learned that you would like to pass on?
Wow, leadership lessons. What a great question. There's so many really, but to me, I think the biggest thing that I've learned being in a leadership position where I work is that to be most effective, you really need to lead by example. It's very easy and very tempting to just tell people what to do, to just give them orders. But you'll find out very quickly that that doesn't work very well. You need to lead by example. You need to do all those things that you're asking other people to do. You need to do them, for yourself. You need to show them every day how to do those things, how to do them well, how to have discipline and continue to do them even when they're not fun at all, and you don't really want to do them, but you do it anyway. And you need to show your team, that example. So to me, that's the biggest leadership thing that I like to do is just to practice what I preach, to do those things every day, and show my team that I'm not just giving out orders, and I'm doing those things as well.
Were you always in a wheelchair, or how did it happen?
Right, so good question. No, I wasn't born like this. I contracted a muscular disease at age 8. At that time, I didn't have much endurance. I was still walking around and everything, but tired all the time. Then things went on like that for a couple of years, and I would say maybe time I got to high school, age 14, 15, I started using a wheelchair on a more regular basis. I can walk short distances. I use a walker at home, and so I'm well aware of both using a wheelchair and not using a wheelchair. So I'm kind of familiar with both ends of the spectrum, and so that's how I go about my life there.
You must have been angry or felt resentment. How did you forgive the things in the past and focus on the things in the present and reach for the future?
Okay, so yeah, as you're going through your daily life, as you're going through things at work, things don't always go your way. It is easy to become angry, tempting to become angry. That's kind of a interesting question. I mean, I think that those that know me well know that pretty much hardly ever, if ever, angry. I just find that it's completely useless and a waste of time. If you're having an issue and you spend a few minutes being angry about it, when you get done being angry, you're going to find that the issue's still there. It hasn't actually fixed or helped anything whatsoever. So it's kind of a waste of effort, in my opinion. Instead of being angry, I'd rather focus on solving the issue that's making me angry.
What motivates you during the hard times?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What motivates you during the hard times?
Yeah, I mean, so an issue that I overcame, I'm sorry. Oh, what motivates me? Okay, sorry. There's like an echo in here. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, with being in a leadership position and trying to lead by example, I think what motivates me most is having that rewarding feeling of accomplishing something. So the encouragement of others is nice. But for me, it's kind of inward and self motivation of knowing that okay, this task or this goal, no matter how big or how small, if you accomplish it, it feels great. To me, that's a very addictive feeling of wanting to have that success, to achieve something. And I really think that, that the bigger the goal, the more satisfying feeling you get from accomplishment, from winning. So that's what personally motivates me. Uh, like I said, with big goals, with little goals, everyday things, or not so everyday things.
Think back to school, college, and the workplace. What do you do to help people see beyond the chair, beyond any label, and see who you really are?
Okay, I'm sorry, there's still an echo in here.
What do you do to help people see beyond the chair, beyond any label, and see who you really are?
Okay, right. Yeah, so I think there's a number of things. Obviously, a wheelchair is very visual. It's quick and easy to see as you're looking. Um, and there certainly stereotypes exist. Prejudice and discrimination exist. And the way to battle against those things is to be upfront, to be assertive, and that helps people realize that you're just a regular average Joe Schmo. That there's the wheelchair doesn't make you different in any way. So just things like this, and just having conversations. Doing regular everyday activities, such as going to work every day. You know, being upfront and honest with people. Those things I think help a great deal.
When we think back to this assembly, what is one thing you hope we take away with us?
Yeah, so I mean, what I hope most is that we talked about discipline and motivation, and I hope that that people feel that inward motivation of having the discipline to do whatever you need to do to accomplish your goal, whether it be a big goal, a little goal. Knowing that it takes discipline to put in the time, the effort to accomplish that goal, even when it's not fun, even when it's kind of a hassle, you still have that discipline to do it anyway, and that's success isn't something that happens once in a while. It's something that you choose to happen every little daily activity or decision or choice that you make leads to that success. So I hope that everybody has that desire, that discipline to wanna have success, to be a winner, to move on and put in that time and effort to accomplish those goals.
Thank you, Kevin. Can we give Kevin a nice round of applause? Test. In the essence of time, I'm going to have